What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Raptors Report. It's time to talk about the Toronto Raptors because one player on their team that we've been hearing a lot of chatter about in terms of trade speculations has been Bruce Brown. And a report came out today revealing what the asking price will be from the Toronto Raptors for Bruce Brown. So I'm going to be breaking that down in today's video. And I'm going to be going through a list of things that may factor into, where the Raptors end up trading him as well. So if you're ready to watch this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you wish to hit the subscribe button as well, that would be very much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, there is actually no shout out for today's video because no one got my previous trivia question correct. It was actually Mike James, guys, who played one season with the Toronto Raptors and averaged something like 18, 19 points, which actually ranks him third all-time on Raptors, points per game in his career with the Raptors. But no one got that right. But let's talk about Bruce Brown because this is an interesting name we've been hearing a lot of. We know what happened in the Pascal Siakam trades, and there's a lot of chatter as to whether the Raptors will trade Bruce Brown, whether they'll keep him. Well, we did get some update regarding that situation. It was being reported that the Raptors are seeking a first-round pick and a young player in return for Bruce Brown. This was being reported by Mark Stein. Now, I know the immediate reaction for most fans will be that the Raptors' asking price is simply too high. Now, you have to understand where the Raptors are coming from and why they have such a high asking price. Do they overvalue their players? Not really. You're seeing how much OG Anunoby is affected with the New York Knicks, right? People were mocking Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster last season when he didn't trade it for 3 first-round picks, right? So you have to understand that for a team like the Toronto Raptors, who don't necessarily attract a lot of players, this is going to be one of the best opportunities and probably one of the best trade pieces they have currently after getting rid of OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam that they're probably going to get a good return for. So you have to start negotiations. When you do start negotiations, you do have to start them a little bit higher and then you can come down a little bit. Now, realistically, do I think the Raptors will be able to acquire both of what they're looking for in a young player and a first round pick? I don't necessarily think so. I think the Raptors would be really lucky if they can maybe get something like a lottery protected, top 10 protected first round pick for Bruce Brown and maybe a salary filler as well, or even maybe a good role player, not necessarily a high quality role player, but a decent role player would be nice for the Raptors to acquire. Now, in terms of, what teams may be interested, well, Bruce Brown did have some very interesting comments to say about the New York Knicks yesterday after the Raptors played them. Now, Bruce Brown on the Knicks trade rumors went on to state that I am a dog. I can do whatever Tom Thibodeau needs me to do. Now, I don't know about you guys. Anytime you get traded to a team, whether you know you're going to be there long term or not, that isn't exactly the type of things you want to be saying to the media, not only because it affects how your teammates view you. I mean, Bruce Brown, you just got to a new team. You just got to a new roster. And yes, the likelihood that the Toronto Raptors trade Bruce Brown is very high, but you still don't go out and make comments like that, which pretty much just suggests you wouldn't be against a trade, with certain teams. Now, with New York, I don't really understand their logic, but there's also another quote that Bruce Brown had to say regarding his trade rumors as well. And he went on to state that I don't know anything. I'm not requesting anything. That's up to Masai. Whatever he wants to do, if he moves me, he moves me. If he doesn't, I'll stay. It is what it is. Now, the one thing I really didn't understand was a lot of Raptors fans overreacting after one game. And this isn't a shot at Bruce Brown. We know he's a high quality role player. But the thing is, the Raptors aren't exactly ready to compete yet, maybe not even make the playoffs until a season or two from now. So it doesn't truly make sense to keep Bruce Brown around, although you can understand where people are talking about in terms of mentorship and they have a lot of young players, but I just don't see it. If you have the opportunity to acquire a first round pick, you absolutely do so. And we're going to be talking about the New York Knicks because that obviously is a team that is being rumored to be interested in Bruce Brown, but also because of the comments that Bruce Brown made about Tom Thibodeau. Now, why the New York Knicks? A lot of people may be asking that question. They have Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, heck, they got rid of RJ Barrett. They seem like they have a logjam at the guard position. Now they want to acquire someone like Bruce Brown, which may confuse a lot of people. It's very simple. When you look at the amount of first round picks the New York Knicks have in the next season or so, you'll see here they have currently 4 first round picks this year, 2 of them belonging to lottery teams in Detroit and Washington, 1 to 18 protected for Detroit, 1 to 12 protected for Washington. Those picks aren't going to convey, but they do have their own pick and Dallas's pick, which is top 10 protected. And we know Dallas isn't going to be at the bottom of the top 10 in terms of league. So they have two first round picks this year, but they also have 2 second round picks as well. And strictly speaking, I just don't see how it makes sense for a team like the New York Knicks to have 4 young rookies come onto the roster next season. This is a playoff team. This is a team looking to make the playoffs, but also go deep into the playoffs. And you don't necessarily want to have that many rookies coming on because they have up and down seasons. We've seen it time and time again, even with some of the best rookies. But you've got to question, right? Like, it doesn't make a ton of sense for a playoff team like the New York Knicks, and also take into consideration next season as well. When you look at the amount of picks they'll have next season, similarly, if they were to keep their picks the next 2 seasons, they're going to have about equivalent to at least 8 rookies. It doesn't truly make sense. I mean, when you take a look at the Knicks roster here, you see how many players are under contract for next season. They're definitely bringing back OG Anunoby, maybe not so Evan Fournier, but they do have a decent amount of players locked in for next season. And also with their salary cap situation as well, you look at that $144 million. So it'll be interesting that the Knicks actually are willing to go into luxury tax to acquire someone like Bruce Brown, who's making about $23 million next season. So in terms of some of the pieces that the Raptors should absolutely look to target back, and I know a lot of Knicks fans may not want to do this. It truly doesn't make sense for Knicks, from a Knicks point of view, to keep Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and then add Bruce Brown to that roster. I mean, those 3 players, Josh Hart, yes, he can guard small forwards at times, but all 3 of those players, if the Knicks did somehow acquire Bruce without giving up one of Dante or Josh, you ultimately look, you're keeping 3 guys that are listed at around 6'5" or under, and having him at the shooting guard position, it doesn't make sense. They have also got Quentin Grimes there as well. Let's not forget about him. And there's been reports that he's frustrated, and maybe the Knicks look to get rid of him as well. Now, in terms of Quentin Grimes, could be a very intriguing player for the Raptors. You get a first-round pick, you get Quentin Grimes, and maybe throw in Evan Fournier in there. That gets the deal done for the Toronto Raptors, and maybe that is the deal that Raptors look for. I don't know if that's on the table right now, because if it was, maybe the Raptors would have done it already. But I don't think the Raptors will wait too long before getting rid of Bruce Brown. And the reason being is quite simple. When you wait till last minute to make deals, the best offers aren't always necessarily there, but also because you have to take into consideration what teams are looking for. If a team like the New York Knicks or the LA Lakers, who are reportedly interested in Bruce Brown, get another role player like Bruce Brown, but cheaper, then all of a sudden that takes him out of the equation. Look, I'm not saying those are the only 2 teams interested in Bruce Brown, but it's better to make deals, get deals done faster before the trade deadline rather than waiting the last minute. Because although there could be a lot of desperation when you get a bidding war started, maybe you get some other players that are moved, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 teams aren't necessarily looking for Bruce Brown, right? So it will be interesting to see what the Raptors do. There are going to be some names that may be thrown out there. Herb Jones is a player that a lot of Raptors fans want. It is not realistic. The Pelicans are way over their salary cap, and they are trying to actually shed salary. So it truly doesn't make sense for them to trade a young player like Herb Jones for Bruce Brown, who's making more money than him. And even if the Raptors were to throw in a pick or so, I just don't see a deal getting done there. I think they're going to be looking for younger, cheaper contracts as well for the Pelican side. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see more. We'll hear more and more rumors as we approach the trade deadline. But it'll be very interesting to see what the Raptors do. I don't think the Raptors should look to acquire a first-round pick in this year's draft class. A lot of people have said it's a weak draft class, but also because they already have 3 first-round picks in the draft class. And then, third, considering if they were to keep their top 6 protected from the San Antonio Spurs, and then you've got an early second-round pick as well. So same thing with the Raptors situation, although it may seem like they're retooling, rebuilding. Getting another first-round pick for this season, this draft class, isn't the best solution, guys. You can only develop so many rookies at a time, and even if you were to draft different positions, there's only one ball to go around, and not enough touches to go around for all the rookies. And also, when you speak of contract situations as well, one of the best methods of making sure that you're able to stay under the salary is to have young players on rookie contracts. If you have all of your rookies expiring at the same time, it really complicates, the salary cap situation moving forward as well. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that's a reasonable asking price for Bruce Brown? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And the trivia question for today is, which team has the best three-point percentage in the NBA? Is it A, the Pacers? Is it B, the Clippers? Is it C, the Thunder? Or is it D, the Celtics? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well. And that will be it. So thank you once again, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.